Welcome to the commentary booth where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator, Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week, as we celebrate the new year, we have a very special episode taking a look back at the best and worst of 2023 as we give out our inaugural Treats or Trash Awards from the commentary booth. To celebrate, I'm joined by an impact fee technician who lists their favourite movie as A Nightmare on Elm Street and favourite TV show as Golden Girls. Welcome to this special episode, Corrina Maybe.
Hello. Woohoo. So happy that I got invited to this pristine ceremony and episode. I'm sorry I saw your quote-unquote formal attire message and just told you to blatantly get fucked because...
That's very rude. Very rude.
That's cool. Since we were supposed to record this at like 5 a.m. my time originally, I was like, that's definitely not fucking happening. So...
Mm-hmm. Just because you're incredibly rude.
And it's because I was incredibly tired. I'm still incredibly tired, so I still have my excuses.
Mm-hmm. So this is our first ever Treats or Trash Awards episode, highlighting the best and worst of the year that was. But I think the cool thing about this episode and these awards is these aren't just purely awards that we've decided on. Each of us put in our nominations and then we opened up the voting to everyone that's been on the show so far in 2023 and also to a general public vote. And we've come up with a nice mixture of some fun, silly awards and some very serious awards as well. So we'll probably dive into this one and we'll sort of go through the nominees, maybe give a little spiel on one or two as we go along and then announce the winners. How does that sound?
I'm fine with that. I have not looked. I just now recently looked up the latest update on our bracket, and I'm not disappointed in some of the ones that have been added to this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. So we'll dive in with a somewhat silly award to begin with. This award is Call in the Robots. This is for a movie or TV show that would have been better with AI assistance. And the nominees are Super X, Transformers Rise of the Beasts, The Pope's Exorcist, The Exorcist Believer, Insidious the Red Door, and John Wick Chapter 2. Are there any in that list that you want to sort of give a little speech about?
Did you say John Wick Chapter 2 or Chapter 4? Because we are in Chapter 4.
I said Chapter 4, didn't I?
I heard 2, but it could have just been that it cut out. Regardless, anyway, I'm just trying to call you out on shit. What was the question now? Because
did you want to say anything about any of the nominees before we award the winner?
I have not seen Transformers or Saw X, but judging from the fact that you're the one who submitted and nominated those, I'm not going to question it because I saw trailers for both and thought they were atrocious. Yeah, I'm not going to get into too much detail about The Exorcist because that movie just sends me into an entire tangent of anger. And that is why that made it onto my list of shit for needing AI.
Yeah, not the greatest list for exorcists in 2023.
You know, not at all. We had some stumbles and fumbles. And yeah, sometimes honestly, robots probably would have been better with certain things.
Yeah, like I think AI creation is obviously not great, but some of these movies were not great. So I think any assistance they could have got would have helped. And the award after our voting went to Transformers Rise of the Beasts in pretty unanimous fashion.
I believe that full-heartedly.
So Transformers Rise of the Beasts earned 62.5% of the vote, with The
That's
Pope's
pretty.
Exorcist coming in second.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
And
I
yeah,
just.
go
No, go
ahead.
ahead. Prior to this, like, I wish I had watched the movie before I decided to put in my nominations, but I just watched the Indiana Jones movie, and like more than half of that film felt like watching AI, and I was like, they should have probably just done it with the whole fucking movie. So had I had time, I probably would have altered my vote, honestly, because that was pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, like the Transformers movie, it wasn't horrible. It was definitely better than the last couple of Michael Bay iterations of the franchise. But it just got the ending just totally let it down. It went crazy wacky. I was like, this isn't. No, we could have run this ending through AI 2 or 3 times and got something a little bit more coherent.
Damn. Yeah, that's not good.
So then our next award, keep scrolling.
Oh my god. You say I'm bad with things.
No, we don't.
Never mind. That's fine. Keep talking. That's cool.
Yes. So this award is for the best streaming platform for scrolling without ever actually watching anything.
Yes.
And the nominees for this category were Netflix, YouTube, Prime Video, Hulu, Paramount, Binge, and Stan. Do you want to chat about any in particular and why you nominated specific ones?
So I have a love-hate relationship with Prime. My love is that I do not pay for Prime. So I'm glad I don't have to do that, because there are some great things that I stumble across, but I could spend hours upon hours scrolling Prime and never watching anything. And that happened to me the other day. And then I ended up switching over to Max instead. And my other problem with Prime is that there's so many like really old movies on there, and some of them aren't even free. Like they still want to charge you for like super old movies. So I feel like I could just scroll for endless amounts of time on that fucking app.
Yeah, I think the main problem with Prime is like it's not just stuff that is exclusive to Prime. Like they have that mixture of, they'll offer you up like Super Mario or even something like Indiana Jones.
Yes.
But they're purchases on Prime, where if you just went to one of the other platforms, it would be available freely. And then because of that, it just feels like there's endless things to scroll through. I don't think
It's so bad.
They're like curation and categorization of things isn't the best either. It makes it a little bit difficult to find.
Yeah, and then like now they've even added like sporting events too. So it's just like adding upon adding to all the shenanigans. And I'm just like, there's only so many things I can scroll through before I'm just like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? Like, this list is insane.
Yeah, the UI isn't great. So a couple of the others that I nominated were YouTube, just because it is one that will suck you into a rabbit hole very quickly. You'll be scrolling, and then if you pause on something, it like auto plays the first like 10 or 15 seconds of it. And then because you've technically watched the opening of that video, it will then offer you more videos like that. And you're scrolling. It's like, I'm endlessly scrolling, trying to find one thing and never actually watching anything fully. And then another one that I nominated was just one that is just, it's fun to scroll. I don't ever actually want to watch anything on there. And that's Tubi.
I love Tubi.
I just like scrolling through to see the weird, ridiculous movies that are there and like looking at the posters and not actually wanting to watch any of them.
I was gonna say, I feel like we had that conversation one night where we were just like, what should we watch for movie night? And then we were just going through the most ridiculous movies that were on Tubi. And I was like, this is getting added to the list of like absolute terrible trash movies I have to watch in my life. And the fact that it's free is why I have such a love for Tubi, because I don't have to feel guilty about turning something on for 10 minutes and it being complete trash and feeling like I wasted my money for a subscription.
Yep. And then, yeah, Netflix is another big one where it's just so many things on there to scroll through now, which some of it's good, some of it's bad, lots of foreign language stuff. So if you're not like into that, that makes it also difficult to find something to watch.
Yeah, I've actually noticed that Netflix has added a ton of foreign films and like series and stuff, like more than there's ever been before. And I don't know if it's just because it's gained popularity now in like multiple locations or
I
whatever
think just
have you.
because they had like a couple of like major hits, like Squid Game blew up and became ridiculous.
Yeah.
That series Dark, the German series, it blew up and got really big as well. And I think they've probably struck on a couple of those, being like, oh, these went really well. We can pick up a bunch of these other random foreign movies relatively cheaply in comparison to, say, like a movie like Red Notice, which had a stacked cast and was produced in America. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, we'll pick up half a dozen foreign movies for the price of one American movie. And
That makes sense.
and then they can just be like, look at all the value, look at all of the stuff we're giving you for the increased price each month.
Yeah.
But the winner on our voting for this one, Prime Video.
Yes.
Which I think won in also a bit of a landslide. Yes, it did. It got 50% of the votes, with Netflix coming in second with 25.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not alone in that like whole thought process either, because I really thought I was one of the only people that actually just randomly scrolled through Prime for no fucking reason.
Yeah, I've found if I'm going to Prime, I'm going with an intent to watch a specific thing, and then I don't necessarily scroll. I just go straight to the search.
Yeah, that's something
just
I
because
the
UI is not great, and it's like I know what I'm looking for, and I know like roughly where it should be, but it's not there. So I give up. Let's just search.
It's a smart one.
Okay, so now our very first sort of much more serious award, the best streaming platform. The nominees were Apple TV Plus, Disney Plus, Netflix, Max, Prime Video, still got to mention here, Crunchyroll, and Binge.
I'm really impressed that Crunchyroll is nominated, because that is not for everybody, but it is consistent and there's a ton of shit on it.
Yep. Yeah, thank Brendan for that nominee. Brendan White, More Than Hentai Podcast. Of course, he was going to nominate the anime streaming platform.
Service. Yeah. Yeah, no, I really like the fact that got on there, because I love Crunchyroll. We utilize it for fucking everything around here. But yeah, Max got on the top of my nomination list just because with them, well, it was announced after I nominated them, but now that they've acquired the A24 deal where they're going to be having all A24 films exclusively streaming, I'm even more happy now about that. But Max never lets me down, and they also have Discovery, the Discovery family now too. So I've got like anything I could really fucking want now on one fucking streaming service.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have that here.
I know, I'm just saying they need to get on the ball over there or something, or make like a variation of it for y'all, because I'm living my best life over here, and I'm telling you all the time how I'm watching Ghost Adventures, and you're just like, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like here, majority of the it's not HBO Max anymore. Max is on Binge, so yeah, like we kind of have it, but we kind of have that bastardized version of it.
Yeah,
Not
because you've told me that
exactly the
you're like
same.
you've
Like
told me
the
before that
Last
you've
of
found things from
Us,
Disney.
Sopranos, like all of that sort of Max original stuff is on binge here, so that's a bit weird. But
It's
then,
crazy.
we'll have like Ghost Adventures is on Stan, and some other stuff is
Yeah.
on like Netflix. Okay, it's just a hodgepodge of bits and pieces everywhere.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. For at least for me and my viewing pleasure, everything's kind of just like in a one-stop shop for that, and I don't have to go hunting for everything. I'm not as big of a fan as Apple TV as you are, but I'm also not an Apple fanboy. So, yeah, I gladly canceled that subscription after I watched. There was like a couple good shows on there, but nothing that was like making me maintain $10 a month for it. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I nominated Apple TV Plus because for me, it's not so much a quantity thing, it's a quality thing. I've found the shows that they do put out, like they don't put out anywhere near as much as a Netflix, but the shows they do put out are incredibly high quality. And like we've had the morning show or Morning Wars, fantastic. Monarch is out at the moment. It's also really good.
Isn't Ted Lasso a thing?
Ted Lasso was on there and it was fantastic.
Silo, that was the other one that I really enjoyed on Apple. Just
Silo was incredible. For All Mankind is the like alternative history NASA show. It's brilliant. So like they've got Napoleon is coming as well. Killers of the Flower Moon. Like the shows and movies they put out are fantastic. It's just nowhere near the quantity that a Netflix does. So I can see why it perhaps doesn't get the praise that those do, because it is harder to justify that price when you might only watch one, maybe two things in a month.
Yeah, for me, that's how it kind of worked, was just I watched like a few things, but there was nothing that like really gripped me to like consistently go back to it. But I don't know, I like the variation and like the option of just like being able to go on there and find like random shit, whereas like it is very limited. So maybe as they increase their library, I'll go back to it later or something.
Yeah, like if you're not going to subscribe like consistently and just watch nearly everything they put out, like I think Apple is one of those ones that like you could probably check in every 6 months, binge the back catalog of stuff that you need to catch up on, and then drop off and come back in another 6 months. Yeah. But the winner of the best streaming platform, somewhat of a shock to me, Netflix. Netflix came in with 50% of the vote.
Maybe it's just because it's so diverse. I don't know.
I think that's probably what it is. It appeals to a lot of people. There's always something to watch. It's just a matter of how high quality it is. Like we just got through Squid Game. We've got Stranger Things coming. There's always like the Beckham documentary. Like there's always documentaries and true crime. Like it's becoming less and less value for money as they increase the price, but it's one of those ones where you kind of just need to have it, because there's at any point in time you'll be able to find at least something to throw on to just watch of an evening.
Yeah, I will say, of all the streaming platforms, Netflix does have the best true crime documentaries for me, at least. And I appreciate that because I'm a junkie for that shit. So, and it's the only place I can watch the Great British Bake Off. And I fucking have the biggest love for that show. So don't judge me.
You're nuts.
They also hold the keys to one of my nominees for best show of the year this year. So, you know, I appreciate Netflix for their exclusive content.
Okay, so the next award is Show Me the Money, which is the award for the most egregious price hikes, with the nominee being the aforementioned Netflix, Disney Plus, PlayStation Plus coming in towards the end of the year with like a Hail Mary, let's get ourselves involved in this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Rental properties got a big one here in Australia, and Spotify also got a nod as well.
I see. For me, I can't complain about my Spotify because I pay $12, I think, for it, but it also includes Hulu with my plan. So it's kind of like I literally pay $6 for each service at that point, is how I look at it. So I can't bash on Spotify. PlayStation Plus, though, is a big one for me. I actually should have probably put it higher on my list because I haven't had PlayStation like Plus in over like since they switched over to like their tiered system. I haven't gone to it because it's just kind of out of my reach right now at this point. But yeah, Netflix was definitely top on my list just because I know that it's been ridiculous, and the fact that like they finally caught everybody for sharing their passwords and shit, and so they forced you into having like a secondary like account for extra
separate
money
accounts.
per month.
Yeah. But yeah, I think where Netflix gets a lot of the ire is that they're doing lots of incremental increases. Like it feels like every month or every 2 months, it's like, oh, we put it up another $2 or $3. Like we're putting it up a little bit more. And I think that's kind of driving people a bit insane. But some of these other platforms, like rental properties, they're just through the roof here in Australia. Just
Same here.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
it's nuts.
Disney and PlayStation, I think where they've really annoyed a lot of people is they haven't increased the price in 2 or 3 years. I think PlayStation's actually been closer to like 7 or 8. Like it's been the same price forever. And then when they finally did put up their prices, they were big jumps.
Mm-hmm.
I think Disney was almost $40 or $50 a year, like as a jump, which is nearly like double their price. And PlayStation was another big increase as well. Like it was like 20 or 30% bump.
Yeah, it's nuts.
For me, the PlayStation one was that big that I canceled.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't gone back to it since they introduced the tiers because what they offered on the lowest tier was not what I value. Like it wasn't worth the value for me. And then the jump between the first tier and the second tier was just way too much for me to actually justify it. And I also don't play it as much. Like Chloe plays it more than I do, and she plays fucking Genshin, so she doesn't even need PS Plus to play fucking Genshin. And like, there's nothing that I'm like itching for that I was like, oh yeah, I could totally get that for free now. It's just whatever, you know.
Yeah, like the free games have like the free monthly games haven't been that great, but yeah, when they announced the price increase, I sort of had to stop, and it was one of those ones where I was like, if they'd kept the price, I would have just let the yearly subscription roll again. But it was one of those ones where it was that big a jump where I stopped and had a little think about it. I was like, how often am I playing this?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really necessary? Like, I maybe play like 3-4 games a year, and it's like the big tentpole games, which I would just buy them outright anyway. So
yeah, what's crazy to me is like, I guess you can't really compare it because it's not apples to apples, but it kind of is. It's like I have Nintendo Family subscription, and I pay for that every year, and it's like I think $80, I want to say, but I can have 8 people on my account, and we can all share that account, and it's perfectly fine. Whereas like PS Plus, it's like I don't even know what the fuck it is now, but it's not cheap, and it's just you, and you're still limited unless you get the very top tiered package.
I never even saw the value in the top tier one.
Other than like you could go back and play like the really old games.
Yeah, but old game is old.
Yeah, but there's still some old games that I really like. Like I almost knocked out the PS3 the other day just so I could play Lollipop Chainsaw.
Just wait for the remake.
Because it'll come on the PS5, and I'm limited to a PS4 right now. So yeah, I don't have like a spare $500 just laying around, and I probably wouldn't get to play it anyway because my kid would just fucking overtake everything like she always does.
That's fair. So this one was a closely fought contest with
good.
PlayStation Plus eking out the win at 37.5% of the votes, with Netflix and rental properties coming in second with 25%, and Disney Plus getting 12.5%.
I mean, rental properties are pretty insane. We drove by an apartment complex today, and it was a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, and they started at like 1980 USD per month. Yeah, 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 833 square feet. So it's fucking tiny as shit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I was
It's
just,
the
are you
same here.
fucking kidding
It's
me?
just- the prices are just through the roof, and you need somewhere to live, so people are paying it.
It's insane.
Okay, so our next award, this one was inspired by a lot of the news that happened this year with the SAG-AFTRA and WGA strikes. This award is Fuck Your Creativity, We Need Content. This one we didn't open up to the public. This one is purely we're awarding this to these people because of the whole strike situation. And this award goes to the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. And here to accept the award is the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery, David Zaslav, because he has been like the face and icon for this whole situation with these film and TV production companies.
This just made me smile. Like when this popped up, I was like scrolling and I was just like, what is, there's no place for me to like fill anything in on this. And it was like, what is this? And you're like, it's a collective thing. We didn't even need to vote on it. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, no,
I agree with you.
They deserve that because of like some of the stuff that they've been trying to pull with, firstly the strikes,
Ridiculous.
how they handled the strikes and their strike busting plans and just refusing every little thing every which way until eventually they were like, oh shit, we probably should just relent, otherwise we're not going to have any content in 2024 and beyond.
Yeah.
But then also the way they've handled shows that were and movies that were completed, like the
delaying them anyway.
The Batgirl movie is gone. We are never going to see anything from that because Warner because they took a tax break and wrote it off. They can never make money on that.
Yeah,
if they make money on that, they then have to go back and pay all those back taxes. So that's never going to see the light of day. We've seen shows on Disney Plus that just are gone now.
Yeah, it's insane. It's crazy. It's fucking wild. It's been a wild fucking year.
It just sucks. It sucks so much for all the people that were involved in those shows, either like behind the scenes as the cinematographers and stuff. It's like they now just have this hole in their resume of like, oh, what were you doing for the last like 2 years? I worked on this show, and they're like, oh, can I see a sizzle reel of it? No, I
can't.
Gone. It's dead.
It's insane. Like that is it's so sad to think that like these people like took their time and effort, and it's fucking nothing. Like they sacrificed time with their families, time where they could have been putting it towards other things, and they just got fucked.
Like one of the things is the Mighty Ducks reboot that they did. There was a lot of child actors on that show that this was probably like their first like big break in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And now they have nothing to show from it.
Yeah, it's really sad. And honestly, the show wasn't that great. And I feel really bad for them because it was a great franchise to try and fuck with, but it did not work well.
It might not have been great, but it's at least content on Disney Plus. Like just leave it on there at this point.
I think that's probably why Disney's just like pushing for like approving any kind of shit thing that comes out now. It's totally just like, oh yeah, we have content now. Here you go.
Yeah, but then they write it off and delete it and blink it out of existence anyway.
So. I know. It's like fucking Thanos is just snapping his fingers left and right over here in the movie world.
Yeah, so I feel bad for all of the people involved because like, in this sort of industry, you only have so many movies or so many TV shows in your career, and you've just burnt one on a show that now doesn't exist.
Yeah, and for some of those people, they might never. This might have left like a bad taste in their mouth, and they might never come back to it. In general, they might just be like, "This is definitely not for me. I'm not feeling it." And they could have had a ton of fucking talent, and now they're just like it's squandered, and they have no desire to do it anymore.
It's like a similar thing that we've seen in gaming this year too. Like some of these games that people have worked on for 3-4 years, and then they just get blinked out. It's like you only get so many games in a career. Like,
Yeah,
you've just wasted one of those on a project that will never see the light of day. So
it's nuts. It's really sad, honestly, and it's kind of scary as to what's going to happen next year too. Like, how many things are going to get like scrapped last minute or whatever because they just didn't. They can't hold up now.
Well, even like Disney, their Marvel slate for next year is 2 things, I think. Maybe 1. It's definitely Deadpool and Echo. I think that's it.
Yeah, I was thinking Madam Web, but that's not Disney. That's Sony.
That's Sony.
Yeah,
and they're only making that because if they don't make Spider-Man projects, the license goes back to Marvel.
Yeah, so
they have to like within set windows. They have to use the license every time within that window. Otherwise, they lose the license. So it's like they're just making shit.
Making things.
It doesn't look good.
It's
But thankfully, the strikes and everything were all resolved in the positive. So we can hopefully get back to making good shit and not blinking stuff out of existence.
Yes, that would be fantastic. I would love that.
So then that kind of feeds into our next award, the Ultimate Trash Fire.
Yes.
For the worst movie or TV show of 2023, with the nominees being Black Mirror Season 6, Swarm, 65, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Cocaine Bear. I hate that was nominated. Fast X, Secret Wars, and Squid Game: The Challenge. Yeah, I loved Cocaine Bear. I thought it was hilarious. The CG was phenomenal. Yes, it was silly, but you're watching a movie called Cocaine Bear. What'd you expect?
It's fucking terrible. It's a terrible fucking movie. Like it's absolutely atrocious. I have a question. This Swarm thing, is that a show? Because I feel like that is a show. And I feel like my boss has talked to me about this show and has suggested that I watch it. So the fact that it made this list is kind of concerning. She said it was very similar to the show that came out years ago called Zoo. And I liked that show. So whatever.
It's it's very heavily inspired by Beyonce and like her fans.
Oh.
And it's about a girl that is obsessed with a singer in that universe and goes on a killing spree, and it's
never mind.
It wasn't good. I did not like it.
Never mind. Totally different kind of show. That's not what I thought it was. Okay. Then yeah, I don't care about that. I nominated Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, because this is one of the very few movies I've never been able to finish because it was that fucking bad. Like you know me, I love horror movies all day long. I love grade B horror movies. I'll watch them. Like I watched Zombievers and that was better than this Winnie the Pooh movie. Yeah, whatever, don't judge me. But so the fact that I could not even get past the first 20 minutes of this fucking movie is just, it shows me how bad it was. And yeah, no, I've got no regrets about putting that on my top of my list.
Yeah, it was like a totally independent movie, so I never expected anything great out of it. I commend them for having that movie ready to go as soon as Winnie the Pooh hit public domain.
Yeah, 100%.
They were on the ball. They were like, right, this property is going to be free to use.
How can we fuck with this
movie made and get it ready to go? So as soon as we can be like, bang, here's this movie. and somehow they got like a theatrical release for it. Like, well played to them. They did everything they could to make some money on this, and I don't know if they did.
I don't know. I don't expect much to come out of that, but I feel like it's going to become one of those movies that's like a cult classic later on down the road, where it's just so ridiculous that people just have grown to love it. Maybe.
Yeah, potentially. So they made it on a budget of $100,000
Okay.
and got $5.2 million at the box office. So
More than well paid off.
it worked for them. It might not have been a
Yeah.
good movie. It's got an average rating of 1.2 stars or something, but they made their money. So well done.
Yeah. I kind of was disappointed to see 65 made this list because I actually kind of liked that movie. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the best, but it definitely wasn't the fucking worst movie out there this year. I like weird fucking kind of sci-fi movies, and I don't know. I feel like Adam Driver did
though.
Yeah, but like Adam Driver played like a pretty good like dad role almost. Like he kind of took on a dad role.
I guess. It just did nothing for me. It was just dull.
Yeah.
But this was another closely fought category with Winnie the Pooh getting his blood and honey. Well done to Winnie the Pooh. Cocaine Bear and Fast X closely running behind.
Fast X was fucking rough too.
Fast X was not good. It was definitely worse than Cocaine Bear.
And you love the Fast and Furious films.
Yeah, no, these guys are not they're superheroes in this movie. Like, no.
Yeah.
So, yep, that was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. That gets our Ultimate Trash Fire Award.
Yes. I love the fact also that I got to help make the title of that award, and I convinced you to put a little fucking raccoon into a dumpster fire because I told you it would not be complete without a raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
So,
trash pandas.
Bravo. I love my trash pandas. They're so cute.
So then from the worst, now jumping right to the other end of the spectrum, our top TV shows and movies of the year. First up, the TV show of the year, with the nominees being The Last of Us, The Bear, The Fall of the House of Usher, Selling Sunset Season 7, What We Do in the Shadows, and Heels.
You don't need to roll your eyes when you're talking about the greatest TV show to come out this year. Just saying.
No. Reality show about selling houses is not the best show of the year.
It's not just about selling houses. It's about selling like multi-million-dollar houses, plus all the tea and all the fucking ridiculous drama and all the fucking shoes and bags. Like, I live my best life through other people, and I just like looking at ridiculous fashion trends that I could never jump on. But it's fantastic.
Yeah, you're insane.
It's fine because I literally put that on there just because it's my guilty pleasure. I love a good fucking reality TV show every now and then. But Last of Us takes the cake on every fucking way.
Yeah, so this award was by far and away the most unanimous vote of the lot. And winner is The Last of Us, getting 75% of the vote.
Yes, as it should be. Although The Bear was a really good close second, I feel.
Well, it was second. It wasn't close, but it got 25% of the vote. It got one.
Oh, well. So. I mean, it's still a good show, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, I don't really think it can compare. I don't think you really could compare the two shows, though, anyway, because they're very different shows.
I think probably what hurt The Bear the most is it was season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of already knew what to expect.
Yes.
Whereas The Last of Us was like, oh shit, we can make video game adaptations and make them well. And it was like their debut outing, and it was fantastic. I think it exceeded everybody's expectations. So I think that's why The Last of Us won. And thankfully they're getting back in onto set to start production for season two shortly. So that's probably have to wait another year to see season 2, but I cannot wait for it.
Yeah, I'll be here for it every step of the way.
I'll be very excited to see if they're adapting The Last of Us Part 2, how they adapt that. Do they change the formula? Do they shuffle some certain things around? Because there's a couple of big moments that if they happen in the order that they happen in the TV show, it's like, oh, this drastically changes the direction of the story.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, not that they're going to do a whole lot with it, but I wonder if they're going to like look at the remastered edition of Last of Us Part 2 coming out and potentially like looking to see if they could like take any bits and parts of that either and add it in, because there's going to be like different things introduced, I guess, in that.
I don't think so. I think it's just like the extra game mode. I don't think they're changing the story at all.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. Whatever. I thought it was
The Last of Us 2023 TV show of the year. The commentary booths treat. And now, the movie of the year.
Yes.
With the nominees being Oppenheimer, Barbie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Whale, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, God, The Creator, Suzumi, and Killers of the Flower Moon, which the way Blake nominated that made me look at it and go, what the heck is this?
I did that too. I was just like, I don't know what any of that stands for right there.
I did the same thing. I was like, KOTFM, what the heck is this? So I just Googled KOTFM and it was like Killers of the Flower Moon. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Of course. It's like when kids go, it's FNAF. And I'm like, what? What's a FNAF? And my daughter goes, Five Nights at Freddy's. I was like, not everything has to have an acronym. Like,
yeah, no, at least have an acronym that makes sense.
FNAF. No.
I suppose TLU doesn't really make sense.
No.
So yeah, any of those movies that you wanted to chat about before we unveil the winner?
Well, we all know that the Queen T, is going to be taking the cake on that gracious award. So
I'm sure if the Swifties got in on the voting, we'd have been absolutely flooded. And
it's okay. So yeah, we all know that Oppenheimer probably took the cake on this one. I still have yet to watch it. It is I think I have a copy of it with me somewhere. And I just haven't gotten around to watching it. Fuck you, whatever. You haven't watched the Eras Tour, so you disgust me. Blech. Anyway, yeah, I feel like a Barbieheimer kind of moment is what's going to be circulating this entire year. So, yeah.
So yeah, I've seen all but 2 of these movies. Taylor Swift and Suzumi I have not watched. The rest I have seen. And this was a clear, easy choice for me. Oppenheimer, just a phenomenal movie, and a movie that really hit me in the, like, punched me in the chest as I walked out of that cinema.
Yeah.
So just the way that movie makes you feel is just something special. And yet, thankfully, Oppenheimer came out on top with 37.5% of the vote, followed by Spider-Man and Barbie with 25%. And then I'm pretty sure I know who voted for T Swift.
Me, glad and proud. It's cool. It's all good. I kind of forgot to tell people about that, or else I would have had a couple more on there and given some of you shits a run for your money, but that's okay.
Yeah. Oppenheimer, like, just watch it on as big a TV as you possibly can as well. Don't watch this on the back of an airplane seat. Don't watch this on an iPhone via TikTok in 18,000 parts. Just, yeah.
At least get a laptop, like at least get like a decent sized laptop screen if you're gonna try and watch it wonky.
Yeah. I know it was uploaded to Twitter at one point. It's probably been pulled at this by now, but yeah, it was the whole movie was up there at one point. But yeah, just watch it. Get a 4K Blu-ray if you can, because it needs it.
What the fuck am I gonna pull one of those things around my ass from?
You don't just go and steal. Wait, no, you don't have the PS4 Pro. It doesn't have 4K.
Yes, I do have a PS4 Pro.
Oh, do you? You just have regular PS4.
No, I have the PS4 Pro.
Well, there you go. Just go to Walmart and buy the 4K Blu-ray, and then there you go. You can watch it on the PS4.
Why do I want to buy something? I'm too lazy to be buying shit. It's Christmas time. I got money to go spend on fucking Christmas presents. What the fuck are you talking about?
But yeah, so Oppenheimer got the commentary booth's movie of the year. It is our ultimate treat. So, yep, that's the inaugural Treats or Trash Awards. Pretty happy with how that went. Basically everything I thought would win won, except for Apple TV. I'm disappointed. And I'm a little bit surprised by Prime Video getting the scrolling award. But other than that, all fairly solid choices. And yeah, if you haven't watched The Last of Us, if you haven't watched Oppenheimer, now's the time.
Please
get on to them.
Yeah, because you're missing. It's true. You're just missing out on shit.
Alrighty. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow me on social media at JamieUpsMedia and at Pario Magazine. And you can follow Corrina on Instagram at Miss Corrina Renee. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Ups Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/JamieUpsMedia. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.